There were a time when Oldham Athletic stood toe-to-toe with Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal. A time where Boundary Park shook when Oldham reached major cup semi-finals and when they were founding members of the Premier League. Today, Oldham Athletic play outside the Football League. So what happened to Oldham Athletic? How did one of English football's founding clubs fall so far, so fast? This isn't just another football story. It's a story about ambition, money, mismanagement and survival. To understand how Oldham fell, we have to go right back to the beginning. Oldham Athletic were founded in 1895, born from the merger of two local clubs, Oldham County and Oldham FC. The town itself was booming. Oldham was one of the richest towns in the world during the cotton mill era. Football quickly became a part of its identity. In 1907, Oldham joined the Football League. Just a few years later, they achieved something extraordinary. In 1915, Oldham Athletic were Football League First Division runners-up, second only to Everton. They finished above Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal. For a town club, this was monumental. Oldham were genuine contenders in English football's top tier. Then history intervened. World War I halted momentum. Like many clubs, players left for the war, finances tightened, crowds dropped. Oldham struggled to recover. By 1920 and 1930s, they'd slipped down the league and become a lower division side. Competitive, but no longer the elite club that they once were. What followed was a long period of financial instability, on-field inconsistency, and off-field changing of owners and managers. Oldham became a classic yo-yo club before the term had even existed. By the 1960s and 70s, Oldham were in serious trouble. The club had hovered in the bottom divisions, struggled financially, and played in front of dwindling crowds. Boundary Park, once intimidating, became a symbol of decline. Oldham were forgotten by the wider football world. And then everything changed, because in 1987, Oldham appointed Joe Royle as their manager. What followed is still regarded as the greatest period in the club's history. Royle built a fearless attacking side. Under his leadership, Oldham won promotion to the First Division in 1991. That meant they became founding members of the Premier League in 1992. This was absolutely extraordinary. Oldham were back amongst football elites. Against all odds, Oldham didn't just survive, they competed. Highlights included beating Liverpool, holding Manchester United, and epic FA Cup runs. In 1990 and 1994, they reached the FA Cup semi-final, and in 1990 they reached the League Cup final. Boundary Park became famous for freezing conditions, a tight pitch, and a relentless atmosphere. Oldham were an absolute nightmare to play against, but success came at a cost. Oldham was surviving on tight budgets, player sales and smart management. The Premier League was changing and changing fast. Money exploded, TV deals ballooned, rich owners reshaped the game, and Oldham couldn't keep up. In 1994, Joe Royle left for Everton, and without him, everything unravelled. The very same year, Oldham were relegated from the Premier League. They'd never return. What followed was a slow, painful decline, relegation from the Championship, years in League One, constant ownership changes, financial uncertainty, and a club that lost its identity. In the late 90s onwards, Oldham became a cautionary tale. Owners came and went, promises of investment, plans for new stadiums, and claims of long-term visions. Few of them ever delivered. The club lurched from crisis to crisis, unpaid wages, transfer embargoes, managerial chaos and fan protests. Supporters watched their club slowly erode. And in 2022, the unthinkable happened. Oldham Athletic were relegated from the Football League for the first time in their history. After 115 years, Boundary Park fell silent. For many fans, it felt like the club had died. Oldham didn't disappear. In 2023, local businessman Frank Rothwell took over, supported by fans and the wider community. The focus shifted to stability over shortcuts, transparency over promises, and rebuilding trust. Oldham Athletic became a club fighting to rediscover itself. So what really happened to Oldham Athletic? Oldham didn't just fall because of one bad season. They fell because of chronic underinvestment, poor ownership decisions, the financial arms race of modern football, and losing people who understood the club. They were outpaced by a game that left traditional clubs behind. But Oldham is a club that refuses to die. Oldham Athletic are more than just a league position. They're one of football's oldest clubs, a Premier League founder, a community institution. And the story really isn't over, because football clubs don't really die when they fall. They die when people stop caring, and Oldham fans never did. This is what happened to Oldham Athletic Football Club.